What is a consequence? How you spell it? Do we need it? Do we overdo it? Or do we underdo it? And that second question, how you spell it, obviously goes to you for being Miss Speller of the Year.
Consequence. 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 Consequence.
Use it in a sentence, please.
When I bit my tongue, the consequence was pain.
Origin?
Latin.
Perfect.
So what you meant when you said origin? What am I supposed to say?
Origin of the word. Latin, yeah.
I've never done an official spelling bee. So there's this meme online that says, oh no, the consequences of my actions. The concept is we all know we're going to do something and it's going to result in something, cause and effect. But when the effect shows up, sometimes we act surprised or we try to blame it on someone else or we act powerless. What could we as a society benefit from learning about consequences or ownership?
Everyone needs a consequence, even my child, all the way to adulthood. And I think the quicker the lesson or the punishment or whatever it may be, the less time we waste trying to learn it the hard way. So for example, when I tell my kids, don't touch the hot stove, they don't seem to want to listen. Don't touch, don't touch, don't touch. And at one point I said, please just touch it because I want you to really feel what it feels like so you will never, ever doubt me again. And that happened to us a few months ago. I kept on telling my younger one, don't touch. And then he finally reached for the hot kettle and burned him. He's like, Daddy, why don't you tell me? So now when you look at him go into the kitchen, he kind of like steps back. So the consequence is definitely important. And for some reason, when we get older, we wish we would have had more consequences when we were younger.
We do?
We do, of course, because you can go off the wrong path for years. Let's say you start eating cheeseburgers every day and cereal. And if no one stops you, no one tells you anything, and there's no consequence, you're not going to get a heart attack at age 6 or 7 or 10 or 15 or 20.
I see.
That's just a delayed result.
So true. So if consequences were more immediate. When I was young, I was raised in the very corporal punishment style. So if my mom said no and we pushed it one time, there was no warning, there was no second chance. Either her hand or her shoe or a cooking implement was flying in our direction toward our face or body, and it was immediate. And we learned really quick that that turnaround time was instantaneous. If she said no and you did it, it's over. And my father didn't need to raise a hand or a finger. If he said no, and I don't remember pushing the envelope with my dad, but if he said no and we did something, it was just an immediately like he was in your face. Yeah. And then you either got taken out of the restaurant or the store or the house or wherever. Consequences immediately. And we were so in line as kids. We were probably over traumatized, to be honest. But we were very, very compliant, consequence sensitive, disciplined children as a result of that.
I do see that being a good thing. Because when you have kids, not, beat them with a spatula.
Yeah.
But when I tell my kids, next time you do that, I'm going to get mad. And they do it again. I'm like, okay, next time after this one, I'm going to get mad. Okay, you know what? For your birthday in 8 months, you're not going to get the toy you want. It's so far-fetched. It's so far out. And you keep giving them so many options and chances to redeem themselves that they don't learn. So your mom, hats off to her.
I agree.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I used to think, I would never do that. And now I look at even adults in public and I'm like, I would like to take a spatula to your ass. Because discipline is invaluable and consequences teach you how to get your shit in line. My mom's one thing was always self-control. She said, do you have self-control? If you don't have it, I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to help you find it. And that was enough. We were like, oh, okay, I found it. I've got it. I found it.
Was she acting like, hey, Robert De Niro, like, hey, you don't do it, I'm going to come after you?
No, she was acting more like in My Cousin Vinny. What's the name of the...
Yeah.
Joe Pesci.
No, not Joe Pesci, his girlfriend.
Marissa Tomei.
Marissa Tomei. The foot stomping and the hands, and she's not Italian, she's Cuban, but...
Really?
There could have been a link.
Marissa Tomei is...
No, my mom is Cuban. I think
Oh.
Marissa Tomei is supposed to be Italian.
She's Italian.
She's Italian.
Don't ever talk about her like that.
No, I love her. And I love my mom. And I'm grateful for it.
So, Amanda, when you say that you want to beat people up with a spatula in public, Why is it that we can see cause and effect in other people so clearly, but not in ourselves?
That's a really good question. Why can we see so clearly the faux pas of others or the consequences that they should be queuing up or the way they're stuck in cycles, but we don't see it in ourselves? There are a lot of really deep spiritual answers, but I think the simplest one is we are acclimated to our patterns and we believe our patterns are real, that they're animated, that they're intelligent. My personal theory is that at least 50%, if not more of us, is just an automation. It's just an automated response, reactivity that's inherited from our culture, our genetic line, and our environmental influences. So I think we think we're fully realized people most of the time. I certainly do. But really we're operating on patterns that we're not making it our business to educate ourselves about. The whole precept, know thyself. A lot of us don't devote the time to knowing ourselves and what our reactive patterning is.
You're absolutely right. In some ways, not every way. We know you have some major issues and faults.
Yep.
Deep rooted.
So I agree with you that we think we're perfect human beings, which, I am.
You are.
So that's why other people are always the subject of, or, hey, you didn't do this. Oh my God, I can't believe you got away with that. Whereas we never talk to that about ourselves. Mm-hmm. We're imperfect creatures. We're imperfect. We like to see that we're always right and everybody else is wrong.
Yeah. And I think can I just insert something real quick before we hop over to you? Please. In my own personal experience, my humble experience.
Is that Latin?
Yeah, origin Latin. Yeah. So I've found that the patterns that trigger me or the behaviors that trigger me in other people are typically exactly what I'm doing. So I do want to add on that this is kind of like a universal fail-safe. When we do find someone, we can see their cause and effect so clearly. I think that's often the universe waving a flag around like, hello, take a look. You're doing this exact same thing somewhere in your life. At least it's always been true for me.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Thanks.
I love that.
You were going to now answer the question.
Oh, I am?
Yeah.
Oh.
Just because you ask it doesn't mean you get a
free pass.
Well,
usually we walk into someone's life and we think that that's their finished story. And our life is always the unfinished story. So we assume that this person has chosen this, is doing this on purpose, and this is the beginning and the end. But in our own lives, we know that there's always a way out. We can change our mind next week. We can have the willpower to stop drinking, or whatever it may be. The other thing is, when we look at people, we kind of say, well, this guy's character is so bad that he's drinking every night. But when it comes to us, we think to ourselves, well, this is just a circumstance. I'm just stressed today. It's my daughter's birthday tomorrow. So we don't see ourselves in the same light as the reality of things. We always villainize the other person, but we give ourselves a pass.
Wow. So for those wondering what happened, we did have a technical glitch where one of our cameras overheated, but we are making the most of our situation. We are being inventive.
All right, so my third point was that because there's not an immediate consequence, we sometimes give ourselves that grace period to recorrect or come back to where we're supposed to be. And we don't give the same to other people. So if I'm not exercising, I'm like, well, I'm not having a heart attack right now, so I can have more time to correct my course. But if my mom's not exercising, I don't give her the same grace. So we have to be more gentle with ourselves and other people. But I think consequences and self-discipline is very important.
Amen to that.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
So now, Kevin, would you like to ask your question?
I do have a question to ask. And that is, how many promises have you broken to yourself this week? And by doing that, what has that done to your trust of yourself?
Are you asking me or am I?
I'm asking both of you.
Wow, that's a great question.
Do you want to go first or should I go first?
I can go first. So there was a time, not that long ago actually, when I would break every promise to myself every week. I'd be like, I'm going to work out this week. Nah. I'm going to go to sleep on time this week. Incorrect. I'm going to make plans with this person this week. Never did it. I'm going to really excel at work this week. Nope.
Never happened.
I'm going to have this important conversation, blah, blah, blah. And for years, actually, that was probably for most of my life, that was how I lived. But I've made efforts over the recent years to correct that. And I've had the luxury of it's both a blessing and a curse of having to be super self-focused. I don't have a partner. I don't have a pet. I don't have anything that demands my attention immediately except for myself. And that has given me the luxury of being able to hold myself accountable. So I'm pleased to report that in recent years, and especially this year, I have exercised every day, corrected food intake, made time to meditate, made time to be creative, grinding more at work, bringing my integrity onto the scene in a really meaningful way. But that has taken years of practice, years and years of practice. I've had to build self-trust. So that's where I am now, but it wasn't easy and it did not happen overnight.
Perfect. I love that.
Thanks.
I think I've disappointed myself a lot, many times this week. Sometimes I tell myself I better get off my ass and start exercising, and I just come up with excuses not to. But I think the physical things are easier to get over. Those disciplines you can start building by having an app or someone telling you constantly you need to get up and do this or eat healthy or whatever. But I think the more important things are the mental and emotional things that we can go wrong on. For example, don't judge people as much. Be a man of your words. Don't let fears and traumas creep in again. So I think those things have to be addressed internally. You have to have awareness to understand what's happening and why you're doing it and figure out what the consequence of those things will be long term. Because if you're operating out of fear or whatever it may be, you have to know that that's going to lead somewhere that you don't want to be in. And from a consequence standpoint, I think if you care enough about yourself, you have self-love, you're going to make sure that it doesn't get to that point that you have to pull yourself out of a dark place.
Wow. That was beautiful. Kevin, what about you?
I've broken many promises this week. Many promises, many hearts, they say. Many hearts and promises.
Broken many hearts.
Every day I'm breaking a promise to myself. Every day that I go without exercising, I'm breaking a promise. And then at some point I realize the consequence of my ways, and that makes me want to do something about it. And sometimes I do, but I think laziness, framed as I have work to do, becomes my whatever the fuck that's called.
Excuse.
That's a good one. What I do in some parts of my life, like brushing my teeth, I'm always thinking of the consequences. Like, oh shit, I'm gonna get a heart attack. Plaque is gonna go in my blood, and they're gonna find my limp body on Saturday morning at 11 a.m. thinking I'm just sleeping in, but I'm dead.
Can I say something?
No, I'm not done.
Oh, no.
So some things like that push me. Consequences push me to do the right thing. But some of the big things like exercise, eating right, I keep forgetting.
One thing that we don't talk about often is we always worry about consequences, but what about rewards? Because if you're constantly framing, if I don't brush my teeth, I'm going to have a heart attack. What if I brush my teeth, I'm going to have a beautiful smile? If I don't exercise, I'm going to die. Versus if I exercise, I'm going to be fit. I'm going to be happy. I'm going to be full of energy.
That's a really good point.
Mm-hmm.
The way that I was able to maintain consistency with the things I do now, for example, last night, I think it wasn't like till 10:15 p.m. that I started my workout, but 45 minutes, I put it in till 11, then I was like, time to go to bed. But my motivating factor was, this is going to make my abs look so good.
Yeah.
And then when I flossed and brushed with my electric toothbrush, which it told me I have to replace the head of, and I was like, damn, another expense. But then I realized, wait, that's going to make my gums and teeth so healthy.
Yeah.
So the spin does matter.
Mm-hmm. So my brother is so right. So right again.
I'm right.
We need to come up with a new word called posequence. Of
Posequence.
Positive quence. So that's what you guys are talking about, posequences.
Posequence.
Posequence, yeah.
I think just reframing that in your head, because today at Mother's Market, when you were talking to me about, you better eat this, you're going to die, you better do this, you're going to sleep, you got to die. To me, that doesn't motivate me, because we're all going to die anyway. But it's a quality of life we're not guaranteed. Death, we're guaranteed. So if we frame everything as, hey, if you sleep more, you're going to have more energy the next day with your kids, that's more of a positive influence on posequence than me thinking, oh, I'm going to die, let me quickly then sleep.
So you're right. We should change consequences to posequences when it comes to ourselves.
Boy,
that.
I've just turned this room around.
There's a workout right here. Just lifting this mic is going to give me an out from today's workout. I'm just kidding. So My final question, if I may.
Go ahead.
When was the last time you looked at something painful in your life and said, I did this, took full radical accountability and ownership, and there was zero blame and zero deflection? And I mean zero. Not, well, if my parents hadn't raised me like this, or, you know, the IRS this, or my bosses that, or my roommate this. You were just like, nope, that was all me, baby.
November 1st, 2021.
That was the last time?
Well, that's a
That was a
major
big time.
one. That's a major one. But when everyone around me was saying, blame the ex-wife, blame the circumstance, blame this pressures and that pressures, I said, nope, I will take responsibility for my own thing. And if other people want to take responsibility, great. If not, no skin off my back. But you have to have that much strength and be able to just take responsibility for whatever you brought to the table. Now, it could be a multifunctional, multidimensional relationship, or it can be something at work or whatever. But as long as you can take responsibility for your own wrongdoings and just concentrate on that without blaming anything else, I think that will empower you.
Care to tell our audience what happened on November 1st, 2021?
I got a divorce. I was told that I'm no longer needed as a husband in someone's life. And instead of becoming angry and saying, well, you did this, you did that, it's your fault, I said, okay, I'll take responsibility for whatever I brought to the table, whatever perpetuated that decision. Some of it was maybe correct, some of it was incorrect, some of it was skewed, whatever it was. I just took responsibility for the part that I was responsible for.
And how do you think that empowered you for the rest of your life since then?
I'm no longer a victim. I'm no longer being controlled, because if you are a victim, you're always being controlled by the villain. And so I'm no longer a victim. Therefore, I have my power back.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Wow.
Kevins?
Every day I'm hustling. No, every day. Like, for example, this fiasco with a customer that did not pay. I blame myself, because while people can do whatever the fuck they want to, at the end of the day, or beginning of the day rather, it's my fault that I did not get a credit card number right in the beginning and say, we're charging you today. I was trying to be nice. So I blame myself for that. I think every day there's things like that I think my kindness or understanding gives people the green light to do whatever the fuck they want to. And I don't like to blame them, because ultimately it comes down to me, and I should have handled it differently from the get-go.
Wow. It's beautiful.
In closing, I'm going to say something.
Excuse me.
I know.
Do I not get to answer my own question?
Sure.
Or you just assume that I'm so perfect I don't need to take personal
Well, I
accountability
figure
for
I've
anything?
said so many gems that, you guys are just in awe.
We are in awe.
Oh.
But and we're going to move back to you for the final gem in just a moment. But I want to share my take, which is that what meditation is, viewers
brother.
and listeners,
Oh, brother.
is the act of taking personal accountability for the moment, surrendering to what is. And then if you can change something, you change it. And if you can't, you accept it. Serenity.
Yeah.
That's meditation. So like you, Kevin, every single day when I slow down and stop and I take stock of the day, I go, I landed here because I did X, Y, Z. And like you do, your approach is very internal, and so is mine. I don't just look at circumstances like I drove too fast on the road. No, why was I driving fast? Why did I get that speeding ticket? I've never had one, by the way. But what was the internal condition that led me to the behavior? And taking stock of that allows me to take the accountability, that allows me to make the shift, that then allows me to continue to ascend up this great mountain until I'm at the very tippity top. And then I'll jump down to the bottom and climb it again and again, because I fucking love Earth.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
Now back to you. Thanks for listening.
Well, that was wonderful.
Thanks.
I think the word for the day that Kevin came up with so nicely has to be the title of this podcast.
What was it?
What was it, Kevin?
Posequence.
Posequence. And I think if we start looking at life as a posequence, what can we do to better ourselves? Because people are always going to say, if you don't do this, this is going to happen. If you don't do, and every single thing is negative. Even when I tell my kids, don't touch that stove, it's going to burn you. I say, hey, if you touch that, we're going to have steak on this finger for dinner. Right? And that's going to be something that they can live with for the rest of their life.
Triple Shot Mindset.